Joe Biden promised to stop running negative campaign ads against President Trump, but guess what's really happening? The president continues his coronavirus recovery, plus, Michael Moore thinks this whole thing is just one big hoax. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with Joe Biden and his campaign and its reaction to President Trump and his diagnosis and now treatment for coronavirus, for COVID-19. Because as we saw over the weekend, starting Friday with the announcement, people are coming together. Democrats are posting, a lot of them, posting nice messages, speedy recovery, get well soon, that kind of thing. One notable exception was Tlaib, who tweeted that the president only cares about himself and his own life. And she also tweeted this. This was in response to someone pointing out that the Democrats were the party of the KKK. She tweeted this. Nah, no one wins with hate, and your impeached president's own action contradicts your statement about him and your party. He is a white supremacist, and you support him. So that was tweeted on Friday, and that's just an example of Tlaib. The real story is Joe Biden and his campaign, because on Friday evening, the campaign announced that it was going to stop running negative ads against President Trump, and here's how it was relayed to CNN. Joe Biden's campaign is pulling all negative ads today, going all positive after President Trump was diagnosed with COVID-19, a campaign aide told CNN. This decision was made before the White House announced that Trump will go to Walter Reed Medical Center. So, guess what? The ads are still running. They're still running across the United States. And the Biden campaign is giving two interesting reasons for this happening. One is they say they can't just stop the ads. Some of them need to run their course, or it takes time to pull them. And the second one is some of these so-called negative ads, they're going to continue to run because they don't classify them as negative, but truthful ads. Now that statement right there, we'll get into that. But Andrew Clark, who's the director of President Trump campaign's rapid response team, he tweeted this. The Biden campaign pledged to take down their negative advertising while POTUS was at Walter Reed. They got the good guy headlines, then continued to bombard the president on the airwaves. So Clark also provided more details to Fox News about Joe Biden's fake promise, and here's the story. Biden's campaign pledged Friday to take down all negative ads against Trump as the president battled the coronavirus. But TV spots criticizing the president were still running Saturday as the president was hospitalized. Despite pledging to stop his negative advertising, nearly 100 negative Biden ads slandering the president and lying about his record have aired today while the president is at Walter Reed. Andrew Clark, Trump 2020 campaign rapid response director, told Fox News on Saturday. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has continued to attack the president in his speeches. So the story goes on to talk about all these states where the ads are running. We're talking about Nevada, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Florida, Minnesota, and here's more. Biden's campaign said it's not as easy as flipping a switch to pull down all negative ads nationwide across hundreds of TV stations. It may take a day or so for the ads to be fully removed from the rotation, but Biden is committed to doing so, the campaign added. Another issue is one of those ads running Saturday wasn't deemed negative by the Biden campaign, but rather factual. Vice President Biden and our entire campaign are praying for President Trump and the First Lady to make a full recovery as soon as possible, Biden campaign National Press Secretary TJ Ducklo told Fox News. We think it's inappropriate to use the president's illness to score political points on our opponent, which is why we unilaterally took down our negative ads. So, first of all, they didn't take down the ads. As we mentioned, they keep running. They're continuing to run. They're still out there. Second, this whole thing that some of them are continuing to run these negative ads because they're not deemed negative, but factual. Okay, so what does that say about the negative ads? Those aren't factual? So you're running factual ones and then a bunch of others attacking President Trump. That statement makes no sense at all, but that's TJ Ducklo for you. We've seen him before. And this is the Biden campaign saying one thing, doing another, which we've seen this throughout Joe Biden tries to have it both ways. He talks tough like he's a far left guy to appease them, but then says other things. Oh, I don't really support Green New Deal and stuff like that. He is all over the place. He doesn't know what he's saying, and his campaign team doesn't know what they're saying. But this is definitely a fake promise about the negative ads. I doubt they'll ever go down. President Trump is making his comeback, all the better, and the Biden campaign is just a mess. So now let's talk about President Trump. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 100,000 subscribers by Election Day. 100K by Election Day. We're right at 94,000 right now. We can do it with your help. All right, let's talk about President Trump. He was diagnosed. The word came out early Friday. Then he was transferred to Walter Reed Medical Center. And on Saturday night, he made a video for the American people. And here's part of it.
I just want to be so thankful for all of the support I've seen, whether it's on television or reading about it. I most of all appreciate what's been said by the American people, by almost a bipartisan consensus of American people. It's a beautiful thing to see, and I very much appreciate it, and I won't forget it. I promise you that.
So President Trump went on to thank his medical team and point out the advances in therapeutics that he's taking. He even joked about how well First Lady Melania Trump is doing because she's a little bit younger than President Trump, which I thought that was great. And then the president closed with this.
So I just want to thank everybody out there, everybody all over the world, specifically the United States. The outpouring of love has been incredible. I will never forget. Thank you very much.
So on Sunday, Trump's medical team held a press conference, and they've been issuing press statements throughout this entire weekend, updating people on the condition of the president. So at the briefing, here's part of it.
Today he feels well. He's been up and around. Our plan for today is to have him to eat and drink, be up out of bed as much as possible, to be mobile. And if he continues to look and feel as well as he does today, our hope is that we can plan for a discharge as early as tomorrow to the White House, where he can continue his treatment course.
So things are looking great. And then the president's physician, Dr. Connolly, he opened up the press briefing for questions. And this is where you can see just the lameness, the unprofessionalism of the press corps. They don't care about just getting information and relaying it to the American people, which is what physician after physician was doing at this briefing. They just care about stirring things up, fear, and attacking President Trump. And it's just, even in this setting, that's all they were doing, was on the attack rather than gathering information. And here's one example.
Told us that the president was in great shape, had been in good shape and fever-free for the previous 24 hours. Minutes after your press conference, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told reporters that the president's vitals were very concerning over the past 24 hours. Simple question for the American people. Whose statements about the president's health should we believe?
So this is just either dishonest or inept reporting by this so-called journalist, because they don't care about the real answers. They just want to sow conflict. As Dr. Connolly pointed out in his response to her, the response by Mark Meadows and Dr. Connolly are not contradictory. They are fine. They can exist in the same universe. On Friday morning, Mark Meadows expressed concern because the president had a fever and his O2 level was a little low. That fever was transient. It went away very quickly, and the rest of the day, and as we've seen throughout the weekend, the president is doing great, and that's what Dr. Connolly expressed. Those two statements can exist at the same time, and yet the only thing the reporter was interested in was the conflict. Who do we believe? Which one is the liar? Which one is the bad guy? This is why folks don't trust the media. They don't believe in the media at all, and that was just one example from the press conference. There was a number of shouting and lame questions. Check it out. It was not good. So then on Sunday, President Trump issued another video, and just the difference. I mean, he looked good on Saturday in his video, but Sunday, to me, he looked back to normal. I know he has a ways to go, but he looked and sounded even better. And here's part of that video.
So it's been a very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. And I get it, and I understand it. And it's a very interesting thing, and I'm going to be letting you know about it. In the meantime, we love the USA and we love what's happening. Thank you.
So in that message, the president also said he let people in on that. He was planning a little surprise for all the supporters that were out there outside of Walter Reed Medical Center. He was going to put together a little drive-by, and here's the president. So what a move. I'm sure all the people out there loved it, and I'm sure the media and the Joe Biden campaign absolutely hated it. So next, let's talk about Michael Moore, someone who definitely hates what's going on. He got out there and he put this massive post together because he thinks this whole thing is a hoax that President Trump is using to his advantage. And here's the story from the Washington Times. Liberal filmmaker Michael Moore cast doubts on President Trump's positive COVID-19 diagnosis, saying the president is not above weaponizing the virus to buoy his chances in the November general election. There is one absolute truth about Trump. He is a consistent, absolute, unrelenting, fearless, and professional liar, a serial liar, a factually proven liar, Mr. Moore wrote in a lengthy Facebook post. So why on earth would we believe him today, he asked. Has he earned your trust now? No. We must always remain skeptical when it comes to Trump. He may have it, but it's also possible he's lying. That's just a fact. Wow. If you search the internet on these left-wingers like Moore and some of these others, just Alyssa Milano in the past, Deborah Messing, they will give you a headache. It will actually make your head hurt seeing this stuff that these left-wing wackos are writing. Moore, not only does he think this is going to be a hoax, that it could be a hoax, but that the president would use this to somehow delay the election, to just stop the election. And here's more. He's an evil genius, and I raise the possibility of him lying about having COVID-19 to prepare us and counteract his game, he wrote. He knows being sick tends to gain one's sympathy. He's not above weaponizing this, but most dangerously, he may use this to push for delaying, postponing the election, he continued. The Constitution does not allow for this, but he doesn't give a blank about the Constitution. He and his thug Attorney General William Barr have no shame and will stop at nothing to stay in power. That part was funny. I like that because it's the Democrats that are coming out on the Supreme Court nomination and somehow saying that's unconstitutional when the president is actually following the Constitution. It's the left that doesn't care about the Constitution at all. If it were up to them, it wouldn't exist. That's why they push for judges that don't care about the Constitution and just make up stuff as they go along. So next, I want to talk about the squad. You know, AOC and Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, because they're all upset. They're all upset because Twitter put out an announcement that's saying that you can't post things wishing death upon President Trump for having COVID-19. They're going to take that out. And the squad members, AOC and them, are saying, hey, well, what about us? We get death threats. Why aren't you protecting us? And here's the story. Progressive Democrat reps Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley, commonly known as the Squad, responded to a policy from Twitter Friday reminding users that wishes or hopes of death and bodily harm will be removed. The warning from the social media platform came after users began posting about President Trump's death following his positive coronavirus test early Friday morning. Tweets that wish or hope for death, serious bodily harm, or fatal disease against anyone are not allowed and will need to be removed, Twitter said in a post on its site. So what's the problem? The problem is that the Squad, AOC, Ilhan Omar, and them are all upset because they think that the president is more important than they are, that they think that they're not getting the same protections from Twitter that President Donald Trump is getting. And here's more. The Congresswoman expressed frustration that the platform had not acted sooner to address such posts, saying that they have experienced threats of death and bodily harm in the past. Omar has been vocal about her need for security in previous comments, taking to Twitter in August 2019 to share an anonymous death threat she received. Tlaib tweeted in response to the update, "Seriously though, this is messed up. The death threats toward us should have been taken more seriously by Twitter." So the story goes on to say that Twitter's policy is not even new. This is an ongoing one that they just posted a reminder because people far lefties and wackos were coming out after President Trump was diagnosed with COVID-19. It was just a reminder. It was not a change in Twitter's policy, yet AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib are all bent out of shape because they get threats and Twitter supposedly is not doing anything about them. It's a mess, but it's interesting to watch, and that's the squad. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.